Emotions are pretty big right now. They're big for the adults, they're big for the kids. And how can we help to create emotionally intelligent kids and help them to express these big feelings? My name is Kristen Anker. I'm your parent empowerment specialist, and I help overwhelmed moms and some dads to bring calm and joy into their homes using effective discipline, positive communication, and Montessori strategies. Today I want to talk with you a little bit about the brain and what happens to our brain during times of stress. And this can help to explain some of these things to our kids. So Dr. Dan Siegel had created this handy brain model. So I'm going to talk with you a little bit about the different parts of our brain. If you use your hand as the brain model, the palm down represents the brain stem. It's in charge of your automatic bodily functions, your breathing and your heart rate and all the things that happen without us knowing. If you put your thumb in the middle, that's your midbrain or the amygdala. It's where the major radar lives. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to freeze? You're going to fight? Or are you going to flight? It's also where our emotions and our memories are stored. So it could be why sometimes we sound like our mother or say things that we wished we heard said to us when we were younger. And that's what's happening to the brain. And if you put your fingers down, the back represents where all the senses are coming in. And then your thinking, this is the cortex, all your thinking is happening. And then your distal fingertips here, your prefrontal cortex. And this is where so many different things are happening. It's like that executive functioning skills that you hear about. It's where all the real formal thinking happens. Your response flexibility, your emotional regulation, judgment, morality, interpersonal relationships, so much is happening here. So what happens to our brain when we are scared, when we are stressed, when we are overwhelmed, when there's so much uncertainty and fear? And then someone comes and pushes our buttons and says one thing to just throw us off. This is what happens to our brain. And what is showing? What did we learn that was showing those emotions, those memories, the freeze, fight, flight? Jane Nelson, who helped to create positive discipline, says this is the reptilian brain, and reptiles eat their young. So this is no time to discipline or to even communicate when you're like this. But how do we get from here back down to here? And that's called self-regulation. And this is a huge tool that we need to master. And we're not going to maybe ever be perfect at it, but we need to keep trying. And it's going to look different for all different people. For me, I use deep breathing. So I start usually using box breathing, breathing in for 8, a hold for 8, breathe out through your nose for 8, and then pause for 8. So that's deep breathing. There's also like a 4, 7, 8 breath you could do. Breathe in for 4. That's like a quicker breath. Hold for 7. Breathe out of your nose for 8. Another acronym I teach parents is STOP. S-T-O-P. Stop, take a deep breath, observe what's happening in your body, and then proceed with caution. You can walk outside. You can do the bathroom technique. Dr. Rudolf Dreikurs, who was the founding fathers of positive discipline, he said, told moms to use the bathroom technique. Go into the bathroom, lock the door, and deal with yourself. Kind of calm down a little bit. But we've got to do something to control ourselves so we could be that role model and how to teach our kids how to do it. I remember one of my kids brought home from school once this really great picture of like, smell the roses and blow out the candle. Stop, smell the rose and blow out the candle. So somehow teach your kids of how to go from here to there. But a huge tool that parents use for discipline is timeout. Go to your room, you think about it, or go to the stop and think chair or the timeout chair. And positive discipline doesn't believe in a punitive timeout, but what we do try to teach parents is how to create a positive timeout, because people do better when they feel better. So with your child, create this positive timeout area. And with the positive timeout, you ask them, sometimes you get so angry and you hit your brother, and it's not okay to hit in our house. But I want to help you to feel better. What are some things that you can do to make yourself feel better? So first, think about things that they can do. So that's that self-regulation ideas. Brainstorm it, write it down. Another thing is what does make you feel better? Maybe holding your stuffed animal, having your blankie, putting on some nice music. And so you kind of create this space. My kids have them in their bedrooms. Create this space that's their positive timeout space. So when they get all angry and when they do something that they shouldn't do, you say, that's not okay. Would it make you feel better to go to your positive timeout? We call it our peace area in our house. Like, would it make you feel better to go to your peace area? And they might say no. And you say, okay, well, would it make you feel better if I went with you to your peace area? And they might be like, no. And you say, okay, well, I'm going to go to my peace area. And so you peace out and you go calm down. Go use that bathroom technique. So that's one idea of self-regulation and using a positive timeout. Another idea is, how do we help them to express these feelings? And if you think about feelings and these emotions, they're really big, but there's really 4 main feelings. They could be feeling sad. They could be feeling mad. They could be feeling glad. And they could be feeling scared. So if you think about all the different feelings words, but really those are the 4 main emotions. So talking with the kids, and I have a great chart. I got it through positivediscipline.com, and it has these feelings faces, and I use it a lot with the kids. Look for that chart, or with my workshops with the parents, we look at those 4 words, and then we create all the different words that could mean sad, all the different words that can mean mad, all the different words for glad and scared. And then you have this vocabulary of words to use. So you start using the words, and then you teach your kids on how to use it using an I feel statement. I feel blank when or because blank, and I wish blank. I felt angry when you knocked over my Lego tower, and I wish you would keep your hands to yourself. I feel sad when I can't talk to my friends, and I wish I could be with them right now. I feel blank when blank, and I wish. Another tool you can use is a you feel statement. So your kid might have just done something and, like threw something on the ground, or they just, felt so upset, they're crying, they're, whatever. You feel, so you guess. You feel sad because you can't be with your best friend right now, and you really wish she could just come over for a sleepover. So you feel blank because blank, and you wish. We're not really fixing the situation, but we're validating their feelings. That's the most important thing that we can be doing right now, is validating their feelings. These are feelings. They're going to feel them. We can't squash them down, but we need to communicate them so that we're aware of these feelings. This tool also can sometimes take you from here down to here, because positive discipline can also be used on spouses. So if your spouse comes home and he's all rough and upset, you feel angry that your boss said this and you wish she did this. So it's a communication tool. And like I said before, you're not fixing, you're not giving advice. People don't want to hear advice. They want you just to listen. So it's a great way to listen. Another tool to use, so when you think about brainstorming that list of all the things that'll make them feel better, you can help them to create this anger wheel of choice. So I did it with my kids just on the back of a paper plate. And similar with the positive timeout, you're brainstorming all the things that they can do to make them feel better. So maybe I'll use the example with my 5-year-old son. And, he might get so angry and he will hit. And we don't hit in this house. Hitting's not okay. But maybe you feel so angry and you want to stomp your feet. You want to stomp. Maybe you want to kick a ball. Maybe it would make you feel better to, tell your stuffed animal, yell at your stuffed animal and tell them how you're feeling. Maybe it would feel better to pound some Play-Doh with a hammer, whatever things that you can find in your house or do. But you maybe come up with 6 different things and you write them down in this little wheel. So they're ideas that they came up with that they can do when they're angry, and it helps them to feel better. Because anger is going to come up, sadness is going to come up, and what do we do with it? How can we express our feelings to our loved ones? How can we self-regulate and calm down and then move on? So the number one thing to do, and the last tool, is how to maybe prevent this. And we're in a situation right now that we're not going to be preventing it, but what we can be doing is taking radical self-care. And that's going to look different for different people. However, it's imperative that we are taking this radical self-care for ourselves. And what does that look like? And I teach my moms in the workshops is creating a morning routine that we are filling up our bucket. We've got to be filling ourselves up because there's so much going on that, we have to be this role model for the kids, and we have to be this teacher, and we have to be able to do all these things. And how are we going to do that if we're not taking care of ourselves? So can you wake up a half an hour before your kids? Can you do some things in your morning routine that will help you to be able to do these things? And that's the real work. So the self-care routine that's helping me in the morning is waking up about half an hour before my kids, getting a huge glass of lemon water, drinking the water. I start my coffee because I'm still addicted to that, but doing a meditation. Meditation has been the number one thing that has been helping me to survive. I say I'm trying to thrive through this. I'm just right now I'm surviving, and how we can make sure to throw these really good habits into our routine so that we can be this person. And no, it's only 3 out of 10 times. 3 out of 10 times we have to try to be this positive, disciplined parent. And it's okay. We're gonna make a mistake. We're going to flip our lid. We are going to yell. We are going to do all the wrong things, and that's okay too. I do it, and we know it happens. And so how can we just have some grace? How can we have some self-compassion and know that it's going to get better, and we will do better? People do better when they feel better. I hope this is helpful. Please reach out if you need any support or help. My name is Kristen Anker. I'm your Parent Empowerment Specialist.